the reboot from the late, the great Tony Stark.
Vamos a hacer más live. No le pare y dale. Baby, cuida por ahí.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Operation Hero Talk. It is your favorite nerds of the day back in the building once again, time and time again. We're here, okay? It's your boy Dimitri Starks. As always, my beautiful co-host Gaki Bunny in the building, dressed like I want to say Spider-Woman mixed with Storm.
No, feeling this wig lately, so I wanted to pull it out again. But yeah, no, it's definitely this is our Tom Holland Spider-Man after he gets the reboot from the late, the great Tony Stark.
Definitely a reference to episode 3 of Operation Hero Talk. Tony Stark, greatest ever. Go ahead and check it out when you got a chance. But for now, people, let's get to it because I want to get straight into this because we got a long episode. We got a lot of shit to talk about. So as you all know, new Spider-Man movie released not too long ago. Justifiably, got some great reviews. I was fortunate enough to go see it opening night. Gaki saw it not too long after. Lot of things we want to talk about. So,
Absolutely.
of course, our episode today, as you all know, will be on the Spidey man himself, Mr. Spidey Senses, aka Don't Get Caught Up in the Web, aka Don't Interrupt My Class Schedule. Peter Parker himself, Spider-Man, is who we will be talking about today. Now, yes, I know y'all all want to talk. Y'all all want us to talk about the movie, and we will, okay? But y'all know how this show goes. All right? Y'all know how it goes. We got to talk. We got to break down the character. That's what we do. All right? So in the first part of this podcast, we'll break down the character, things we like, things we dislike, origin stories. We'll break it all down. Then, special to you guys, the second part, we'll do a full half an hour on the Spider-Man movie. Okay, we'll do on the newest one. The whole half an hour will be dedicated to that. All right. Now, just so you know, and I'm gonna put it in the description too, so that I don't want to hear or see y'all in my inbox talking that mess. All right. Spoiler alerts all over this damn episode and YouTube video. Okay, spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Major spoilers in this biatch. Okay, so with that being said, let's get it cracking. Now, as everybody knows, I always do a speech, and I got one today. So, why does Spider-Man work? This is a complicated question. It's a complicated answer. It's not simple. But one of the things that I've observed is that when we relate to heroes, doesn't matter what gender, heroes, one of the things we love about these heroes is the struggle. The struggle is something that we identify with because we go through it in our daily lives, and we understand that even with these gifts, they still have to live normal lives like us. They have to pay taxes, they got to pay bills, they got to raise kids, they got to do all that. It's no different. Only difference is now they have a greater chance of dying, right? So that's really, there's a bigger sacrifice to be made in all this. So when I thought about this, I was thinking about this the whole time I was watching the new movie. And it made me realize, okay, so the Spider-Man show, the one from the early 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s, that one. I used to think that show was mad boring, yo. Mad boring.
I the animated show, right? Okay.
Yes, the animated show. Yes, I used to think that it was too much talking, not enough action, right? But that was just, ladies and gents, that was my youth. That was me in my youth. Okay, I was this is my youth. I wasn't appreciative. Okay, I had Yu-Gi-Oh, I had Jackie Chan adventures. The hell do you look? Don't blame the kid because there were more interesting things to watch on TV. Okay, save the haterade for your mama. Anyways, what I realize now is that this show worked because it made us realize that this man, while he has to protect an entire city, yes, there are other heroes in the city, but we're not talking about them right now. He has to be a friendly neighborhood guy. He has to be a college student. He has to be a boyfriend. He has to be an employee. There are so many things that as a child I couldn't appreciate. But seeing it now, I was like, okay, I get it. I'm more appreciative of it now because I have responsibilities. So the genius of Marvel is that they warp that, they flip it into something that the younger generation can understand.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely. Did a really good job of making Peter Parker a high school student was a really great way to loop in that younger generation.
absolutely. And it's always been like that. There was no point in the Spider-Man series besides Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man 2099. Well, they'll get their own episode. They'll get their own episodes respectively. Especially Spider-Man Noir because that's my favorite Spider-Man. But uh, he's always started at that point. That's been the starting point. So, but I think once again, the genius of Marvel is that they were able to take this and relate it and make it relatable to a younger generation of fans because it's like, look, I'm not an adult. Your parents, your older brothers, your older siblings, they grew up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They grew up with that Spider-Man where he was just leaving high school, right? So so it was mainly a situation where it's like he's got to we saw the responsibilities early on, but now where you come in at, let's get rid of the spider biting his hand incident. We know it happened. It's part of the story. And let's just bring him in straight with these high school problems. Let's just bring him straight in. So now it's a given. Now you're looking at a younger person and you're seeing how a young person would handle these situations, how he would go through these motions. And one of the things that we love, and I'm gonna let Gaki get in here and expound on this a little bit more. One of the things that we love is that the Spider-Man character shows you that being a hero, it's it's not all sunshine and daisies. And yes, every single hero that we see, you see the dark side, you see the negatives. But with Spider-Man, it's different because you see the emotional side of it, and you have to see you see the choices, the sacrifices you that one person makes when they don't have to, but they do. So it's more of a struggle between that balance of I know I don't have to do anything, but I know I'm going to because I know I can. Expound on that a little bit if you got something to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought me in at this point because there's a big thing that we see, especially like we're talking about all of them here, but the great thing that Marvel did is that they brought in just your regular kid that happened to win a science fair and got the attention of Playboy millionaire that just is like, you know what? I like you, kid, and I'm gonna make your dreams come true. It's really cool to see that, it's not the dark, yes, obviously it comes out, but it's really, I guess, heartfelt, and it makes you feel really in touch with him because it's not, he doesn't dwell on it, which is so hard to say about any other Spider-Man, right? Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like a kid, like just upbeat and cheery, and like, yes, some terrible stuff happens, and yes, he goes through some stuff, but he just, okay, well, I guess this is just another day because that's just how we deal with high school, you know? It's gotta get there, just another day. So, I think in general, it's always said, and I'm gonna leave it to you to say it, but we all know that with great power comes
Great headaches.
responsibility.
Great headaches. There's what's interesting about that is that I gotta build off your point a little bit, but kind of go in the opposite direction. They were all kids. Toby was a kid. Andrew was a kid. They were grown men. These were
Right.
grown men playing Spider Man. We know that, but the premise of the story was they were kids, right?
Well,
It,
but
yeah,
again, we start off with a younger Spider-Man than we do in any other version. In every other version, he's this kid that goes on his senior trip and he gets bitten by the mutant spider on his senior trip. With Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we literally see him going through high school. Like it's not just, oh, this is my senior year. No, we see him grow through high school. So he was a much younger Spider-Man to begin with. It's much more relatable for a college student to feel kind of more what Toby Maguire was feeling and more, um, you know, what a high school student could go through with Tom Holland. So I feel like they made him just a little bit younger. And with that, comes a little bit of naivety that, he played so well. Like, I don't know what to do, but he figures it out. And that's what's so great about that character.
I would have to say I agree. Uh, the interesting caveat. This let's get into before we get into the origin stories, because you all know, and we'll cover some Spider-Man villains on here at some point. Like I told you guys, the show's never going away. There's too many damn heroes and villains to discuss. Okay, Spider-Man alone, my God. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get into this really quickly because I wanna talk about this because it's very important. Not specifically about the Sinister Six, but we'll get into them as a collective as it relates to the movie. So we'll talk about them in the second part of the podcast. Um, to the younger generation, if you listen to this, uh, if you listen to this show, we appreciate you. What you guys got to understand is that with the popularity comes sometimes the disregard for what was. Spider-Man's always been a pillar. He's always been popular, right? Yes, we know that the Blade movie saved Marvel from going bankrupt. Yes, we know that. This is fact. But that first Tobey Maguire movie had to be a hit. I'm not throwing all the love towards Tobey Maguire. I love Tom Holland. I love him as a Spider-Man. I can't wait to see him in the new Uncharted. And I love Andrew. Yeah, I loved Andrew too. I loved Andrew Garfield too. So I loved all three of them. I love all three of them. I think people could say what they want about Andrew Garfield's movies. Yes, you could argue the writing could have been better on the second one. I agree, but we're talking about choice for Spider-Man. They knocked it out the park. So with that being said, let's get into some of these villains real quick because I want to talk about these real quick. If you guys don't know, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can clearly see I am researching on my laptop right now. And if you are listening to this, I am researching on my laptop right now. All right. So
While he does that, I'm going to go ahead and remind all of you guys, as always, we love to hear from you. So anything that you guys want to tell us in the comments, Any extra points you guys want to make, please put them down there. We love to hear them. We love to see them. Also, follow us on all of our socials, our YouTube page, our Instagram, TikTok soon to come. And also follow your hosts. So Dimitri Starks and me, Gaki Bunny. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and I don't know. I think you have a YouTube page. I know I don't, but Twitter, whatever. We're out there. So come in, get to know us, stay for a while, and hopefully you'll enjoy the future episodes that we have to come. But so glad that you guys are with us today.
Absolutely, and yes, we do have future episodes to come. So don't even worry about that. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and because this is screwing up our interference. So let me go ahead and just actually look this shit up on my phone because that'll make it easier. So when I discuss Spider-Man, he's no different from any other hero. The formula is the same. This is the 14th damn episode. People, the players change, but the game remains the same. Okay? It remains the same. The formula is repeated because it works. Why has Superman been a flop more times than not? Non-interesting villains. Spider-Man look, okay, I'll say this. I wouldn't call his villains interesting. But the good thing about his heroes is CGI can literally bring them to life. They are amazing in their destructive power, right? And the damage that they can cause. That is one of the reasons why, no matter how you feel about his villains, the ones that attack him, Lizard Man, Doc Ock, Electro, I can think of Venom, regardless of what you think of them, right? The point is, while they themselves may not be interesting as villains, they're ruthless. And one of the things we love about them is the toll that they have on Spider-Man's life as a hero and as a human being. The Green Goblin alone, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure. Although I do have to say, I kind of not 100% disagree with you, but I do disagree with you that in the fact that if he's just our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? His villains cannot be apocalyptic villains. Like they just can't be. Otherwise, some other hero is gonna come in, and he's no longer the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's the friendly world-saving planet.
Oh no.
But I have to say, as far as he does have his obviously moments in the Marvel universe, but his villains do need to be something that you wouldn't suspect the person down the street is a villain doing this. You wouldn't suspect the brilliant professor, the genius engineer, to turn out to be this weird psycho. And the fact that they all end up connected to him just shows, and it gives you that sense of it's a small world. This is a small town America. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and whether your bad guy is somebody that is trying to electrocute everybody to death, or it's the guy that crawls out of the sewers that's a lizard, I'm still here and I'm still going to protect you.
Okay. I feel like we're parallel, but you're kind of missing me on this. I am not saying that they have to be world-ending destructive. No, not saying that at all. I actually like the fact that most of Spider-Man's villains, the reason why they do what they do is because of a very specific reason. Usually money. Usually science experiment. Rarely, or mental trauma. Rarely do you have a Spider-Man villain that's doing something just to be evil. It don't work like that. Maybe with Green Goblin, but I think they kind of played the mental side more in the movie than they do in the comics. In the comics, he's just an asshole. In the movies, it was because of in the movies it's because of what happened in the first movie, in the very first Spider-Man. What I'm saying is, these guys are just interesting enough to keep the audience. I'll put it to you like this. I'm going to give you two episodes of Spider-Man. I'm not going to explain them. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. You tell me which ones sound interesting. Because let's compare the old show to what Tom Holland Spider-Man's been going through in his adventures. All right? Hey, Gaki, I just went ahead and watched this episode. It was about Spider-Man. It was a Spider-Man episode, Spectacular Spider-Man. He ended up, I forget what happened. I think Rhino ended up accidentally running through his house trying to get away from the cops, and he actually ended up punting Aunt May to another building, and she ended up going up on life support. So he ended up getting really angry about that and almost beating Rhino to a pulp. But he ended up sparing him because he found out that Rhino has kids in the Ukraine that he's trying to support, but he can't really do that. Can't really see him because he's wanted by the police there, so he sends money to them whenever he can. Okay. Now, let's break that down. Aunt May got hurt. Emotional trauma. Right. Just interesting enough villain. Rhino. Okay. Interesting activity. Because we all know, when he want to, Spider-Man, no matter what version you're talking about, when he wants to, you can catch these hands all day. And it's usually not pretty. It's not pretty to see. That's why I don't think Tom Holland's been that. We saw a little bit of that in the movie. We'll talk about it in the second half. But we haven't saw him beat the living dog crap out of anybody. Not yet. Maybe so, maybe in the future, but not yet. So, second episode. Hey, Gagi, I just watched this very interesting Spider-Man movie. This very interesting Spider-Man movie. Apparently he gets Tony Stark to. He ends up in this internship with Tony Stark, and then he ends up making him this brand new suit, and then he ends up going to outer space to fight Thanos, and then Thanos ends up making him disappear, and the next thing you know, he ends up coming back, and then he ends up fighting in a galactic war. Come on, man. Which one? Come on, man. Which one? If we're gonna have an honest conversation here, which one? See, this is where we have the gap, right? Because while me and you, we could go either or, and in fact, what might actually interest us more is the Rhino episode, because we want to see how he's affected by that and how that leads to him literally almost beating Rhino to near death, right? But the younger generation, they ain't trying to hear that. No, give me the galactic battle. Give me the spaceships. I want all that. I want all this. I don't want to see that. I can say that for later. I want to see this. This is what's happening now, right? So there's a difference. But either way, the villains help keep Spider-Man interesting, and that's why I think this character has worked for as long as it has. Spider-Man, he's a pillar, man. He's a pillar. I think he's one of the most celebrated Marvel characters of all time, obviously. And I think that the recent events, recent movies, recent TV shows have only brought to more light that this is a super complex character whose main objective is to show you that there's a person under the mask, and this is shit that I have to deal with on a day in and day out basis. It's not easy. Like, my life is hard. Like, it's not easy. Like, I rarely have time for a relationship. Oh, my bad. You up? No homo. Who the fuck is it? Anyways, I rarely have time for a relationship, right? I rarely have time for a relationship. And everything I do is just to protect you guys. You guys, you want to expound on this a little bit, Gaki, before we go to the break?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I think that it's really interesting, all the characters, right? It's the person, it's a person, and as a person, we're constantly balancing all kinds of things in our life, right? Whether it's school or work or children or friends or things that you love to do, like hobbies. Like, for example, for me, it's really hard to find the time and the energy to sometimes put these types of things together. So now add to that the fate of thousands, possibly millions, it falls on your shoulders, because hey, the cops don't have enough resources, and or are not doing their job correctly, and or all kinds of other stuff. Or it's there's nobody that's caring about this poor kid from Queens. So he pulls himself up. He says, you know what, I'm gonna do the best that I can, and I'm gonna help who I can, how I can, and balance what I can. And if I can do it, great, and if not, then I'm just going to keep trying harder. And I think that that's very relevant, and it touches home for a lot of people.
No, you're absolutely right. And hey, I don't really don't want to say this, but but fuck it. The cops. It's like one of the one of the things I feel is going to happen. And before we go to break, I was going to say this. One of the things I feel is going to happen is that you can't have superheroes. You can't have superheroes with non-inept cops. Can't have it.
Exactly.
You can't have it. It's not. It doesn't mix. If you got cops coordinate, but then what would they do?
Right? Well, it's either going to be that or crooked cops, right? Because it's
right.
always going to be one of those.
No, right. I was muted for a second. Right, you're absolutely right. Because because that's the point. You can't, if the cops get to the point where they shooting, usually the situation is taken care of. Go try shooting a dude that's made up of electricity and see if you don't end up as fried rice. It's mainly a thing where it's like, yeah, they kind of gotta be not normal, but there's impacts in that. And there's impact with what happens to the police in these stories too, obviously. And we're not going to talk about him because this man clearly deserves his own episode. We will cover Miles Morales at some point. Okay, I actually have a Spider-Man shirt. The only reason I did not wear it is because it is a Miles Morales shirt, and we are not speaking on Miles Morales today. We are speaking on Peter Parker. So, with that being said, we're going to take a short break because I got to get some water. All right, we're going to take a short break. Y'all going to listen to these ads, and then we're going to get right back into it, and you guys are in for a full half an hour on the movie, things that we liked, things that we disliked. Once again, because it's the last time I'm going to say it, and we ain't saying it at the beginning of the second half. Exactly. We are not saying it at the beginning of the second half an hour. Spoilers all throughout this bitch. All right? We'll see y'all in the hop, jump, and the skip. Peace. Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of Operation Hero Talk. Yes, it is the moment that you mother Canuckers have been waiting for, okay? We are going to discuss the new Spider-Man movie. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Spider-Man movie we are about to expound on. We're about to talk about. Word of the day, expound. For me, it is. And we're going to, talk about all the good things we liked and we disliked. But, what I want to start doing, because I always start off the first part of this podcast. I want Bunny to start to kick off the second parts of the podcast episodes, because I think that that keeps it fresh, and she usually comes in with a great perspective. So please, Bunny,
Yeah.
lead us in, please.
So, I don't know about y'all, but this was like definitely a love of mine. I will say there was all kinds of stuff and buzz on social media. While the movie was absolutely excellent, it did a great job of not only kind of explaining the multiverse and also giving you a little bit of, hey, there's consequences to everything that you do, including and especially when it comes to magic. Um, but it's a really great movie in that again you're seeing a new perspective of this character that you already love. He's trying to go to college, right? He goes, and the last time we see him in the previous movie, he just fought Mysterio, and he got outed to everybody in the world, and his life was essentially ruined. I mean, like, let's think about the comparison between that and then, several people, famous and not famous, that have been doxxed and like end up having like, hate mail and, people just showing up at their house all type of the times of the day, and like reporters and all that kind of stuff. So you can only imagine how traumatic this is for this kid that hasn't even graduated high school. Safe to say, young 17, 18-year-old kid.
Facts.
And he's going through all of this, and I know adults that could not have handled something like that, let alone, a 17, 18-year-old kid. Um, but like, the thing that I love about it is that it did bring in that multiverse. We got to see our favorite Spider-Mans from before, which I fully believe is not something that could have happened had Sony given up those rights to the Spider-Man character. For those of you that do not know, Sony owned the rights to the character of Spider-Man, which is why we probably didn't see him so early on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sony decided after the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies that, okay, we'll lend you this character, and you can use it for X amount of, I think it was like 5 movies or something like that. After which we get it back. Um, Sony did a really great job of continuing to build on that Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even though it was a Sony movie, it definitely still feels like it's part of that universe. And that where we still see characters that we love with that universe. Um, I definitely loved seeing Doctor Strange in there because I don't know about you guys, but he's my favorite wizard. Him and just because he's so cocky about it, he's just like,
Once
yeah,
again,
I'm the best.
once again,
We'll agree to
facts.
disagree. Oh, facts. Oh, we rarely agree on stuff like that.
What the hell else? What other wizard I'ma say? Gandalf? Oh, I do love Gandalf. Never mind. I say Gandalf. But that's totally different.
There's well, I'm talking wizard in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because there are plenty of other wizards in that universe. Many who we all know and love, and some that have even made it into some of the other movies. Um,
Sure. Yawn. Fuck.
ooh, tired.
Yeah, I yawn. I yawn when other wizards besides Doctor Strange are mentioned. Anyways, get, getting back into it.
Anyway, getting back
Yeah,
into
go
this,
ahead.
I think that they did a great job of blending those stories together. They even had that crossover with Venom at the end, for those of you that have not watched it and are watching this to know what happens, there are two end credit scenes. You need to make sure to watch both of them because it is going to link everything across the board, and you're gonna absolutely lose your stuff when you see who comes out on this screen.
Absolutely. So just going into the movie, my thoughts. Definitely thought that this was the best Spider-Man movie, bar none. It's not even close. The story, the writing, uh, top notch. I think that in this movie, it kind of got to that crucial point. Tom Holland's Spider-Man got to that crucial point that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's got to pretty early. And the funny part is one of the best conversation, one of the best parts of the movie to me is when uh, I said I wasn't gonna say the S word because we said it at the end. I wasn't gonna say it, so I'm just gonna say what I was gonna say. When unfortunately Aunt May dies, tear, uh, and the other Spider-Mans find him and they talk to him and they say, you know, hey, we've dealt with this too, man, and what you got to understand is that this is what it means to be Spider-Man. And if you've understood, if you've ever truly thought about the Spider-Man character, forget who's playing him. Forget who's playing him. If you ever thought about the character and what he symbolizes, and you understand that he's a loner. He's really a loner. It's really not until he's damn near in his 40s that he gets even a semblance of his regular life back, right? Because by that point, there's too many alternate Spider-Mans swinging their little asses around New York City. He's like, you know what? I'm good. Don't got to do this anymore. But we're talking about the movie. That's what I took away from it. I was like, oh, okay. So this is deep because what they're trying to explain to him is that yo, that hurt, that pain you feeling right now, we been there, dog. We been there. We been there. And regardless of how that's making you feel now, remember what you said. Remember what you said in the beginning, your thought process in the beginning. Because it's the same thought process that we had when we first got these powers. And this is what you said. You said it to Tony Stark. You said, and I quote, when you can do something, when you can do what I can do, when you can do what I can do, and bad things happen, and you don't do anything about it, then it's your fault. Paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said, right? Captain America: Civil War was when he was first introduced, but that's what he said. You got to get down how you live. You got to speak that. You got to live that now. This is the moment. This is the ultimate moment that's gonna test your resolve as Spider-Man, and that's really what I was waiting for as a fan of this of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I was waiting for that ultimate moment. Didn't think it was gonna come with Aunt May's death. I didn't think because I didn't think she was gonna die, but I was like,
And that's so interesting that you bring that up. Is that we had in the previous versions of Spider-Man, we had Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and Uncle Ben always died, and it was always Uncle Ben that said, you know, the very famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility,"
and no money.
and no money, and that was not the case this time. So I have to agree. I love that culminating point for him, the point of growth, right, that we see from him.
No, I totally I'm there with you because it's you had to get yourself out of a rough spot. You had to get yourself out of a rough spot in the Spider-Man movie. In the first Spider-Man movie, you had to learn to control your powers in the second Spider-Man movie. In this one, you got you once that happened, you became Spider-Man. Essentially, all in. Now you're all in. Now that there's it's to the point now where it's like this was the ultimate test for you. You have you've lost the person who took care of you. You your friends don't even remember you. You have every right to walk away from being Spider-Man and to go back to your normal life. But but I can't because now this is when I need to be Spider-Man. And this is when I'm validated. Because this hurt that I'm feeling, I can't let this happen to anybody else. I said it in the beginning. I said it in the damn Captain America movie. When things go wrong and you can do something about it, but you don't, it's your fault. I can't be a hypocrite. I can't be a hypocrite. I can't. So I gotta go with this shit alone now. I got to. That is what to me. That is what to me. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
this movie definitely passed the. It passed the psychological test for me. I was like, yeah, this is hidden. I'm firing on all cylinders with this movie because that's something that I think that a lot of people really don't understand. Not that they don't understand it, but they don't dive deep enough into it because they don't want to explore that pain. We want to think of our heroes as being we want to think of our heroes as being tough, but what we don't realize is that they have families, they have responsibilities, they have friends they can't see, they have people they'll never be able to have a relationship with, they have dreams that they'll never get to live, they have occupations, they have jobs, they have bills, they have this, they have that, they have all these things along with being a hero. And sometimes it it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on you. And
Absolutely.
I think, man, like that was wow, beautiful. They played it so well in the movie. I mean, think of this, you because you think about the bridge scene. First time we were introduced to Doc Ock, and if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see that I'm putting the video over this. I'm putting the video over my voice right now. Uh, you can see that this whole scene that you're seeing right now with him destroying the bridge to get to Peter Park, that this all this all started because he was trying to get his friends, not himself, back into consideration for getting into MIT. It wasn't about him. He was like, look, don't, I get it. Nobody's gonna not think, I get it. You don't want people attacking your school. I understand. Don't take it out on my friends. Don't take it out on my peoples. You know, their only crime is knowing me at the end of the day. Let them in. Come on. They're clearly qualified enough to get in this school. Right? And we got a long way to go because what a lot of people don't realize is that while if you've read the if you read the if you've read the Spider-Man comics, you know that eventually it's a happy ending. A lot of pain, a lot of pain to go through before you get to that happy ending. Same thing with Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's no different. He's no different.
You know, and
No different.
that's the one of the things that we all see, right? Like he goes, he's being this selfless person that he's giving up his relationships, his friends, his, all these things to save people. He is, you know, saying, you know what, don't worry about me. Let my friends into MIT. He is, constantly just putting everyone else above himself. And the one person, like you said, that cared for him, true north, his true north, his home is taken from him. And it's like, I mean, talk about getting your heart ripped out of your chest, right? Like, to see the person that you love most in the whole world. Like, I don't care. Like, yes, there is Mary Jane, in some of them, and this one is MJ. Um, but there's there's always the love interest, right? But there's always that one
Yeah.
person that, if even if nothing else panned out, this person will love me. They will love me unconditionally because they know the true me. Even if they don't know my secret, they know the true me. And in this instance, Aunt May knows the secret. So it's like, it makes it that much more of a a punch in the gut that he had this relationship with her. And we even see it in the movie, right? Like, he's like, oh, I don't want to help, I don't want to help this guy. Like, he's just some random guy. I need to send him back to his timeline, and that's what's best for everybody. And Aunt May asks, Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, is that really what's best for everyone, or is that just what's best for you? Like, the fact that this is just so deeply ingrained into him is like, right,
Forcibly
bananas.
deeply ingrained in him.
Exactly. But again, that's his true north. Everything that we know and love about Peter Parker, he got from his Aunt May.
I agree. And I going to a different point because I don't want to cry up in here. Uh, One of the things that and once again, if you've never seen the first Tobey Maguire movie, Spider-Man movie, I wouldn't expect you to understand this. Um, but man, Green Goblin, sheesh. They made
I
this man
love
into a
that they brought him
fucking
back.
unit. This dude
Yes.
was ruthless. Look, 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 look. As when I saw by the when I saw when I saw the fact when I saw that he had hit a bomb in the magic box, I was like, yo, this motherfucker is bugging. I love this right now. It is pure comic book ruthless. The the one from the first movie, Puddin'. He's Puddin'. This one, Jesus
This
Christ.
one.
This one, Jesus Christ, is scores worse. And I
But
didn't
and
like.
that's the thing. And that's something that we need to point out too, right? In the Tobey Maguire movies, we had the Hobgoblin. Yes, it was the Green Goblin, but it was the Hobgoblin. It wasn't the very mechanical, the very sinister, the very edgy Green Goblin, like the one that we see in, for example, the animated series and stuff like that. That was the Green Goblin we got in this Tom Holland movie. And I love that they brought back the actor for him, because
William Defoe.
he was just William Defoe. Like, oh my god, that is my favorite Green Goblin, I think,
I'm gonna
ever.
be real with you. I maybe it's because I haven't seen the movie. In like I haven't. I honestly cannot tell you how long it's been since I've seen the first Spider-Man movie. Um, but what I will say is I've noticed some things. I did notice some things. There were some things that were similar. Was he strong in the first movie? Yes. They showed more of that strength in this movie. Was he more sinister? His evil side was it more? Was it sinister? Yes, it was sinister, but it was more sinister in this movie. Everything that you knew about the Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man movie, they amplified that shit by 10 in this movie and said, No. You thought was that you thought that Doc Ock was gonna be the HVIC, the head villain in charge. No. It's me over here, because what you're forgetting is that, bruh, I'm pure anarchy on steroids over here. Okay, I'm pure. You don't want none of this over here. Okay,
no F's were given by him that day.
No F's to spare. I don't think you could find one on them if you searched them, and I'm yes. Also mean a cavity search. You will not find an F to give. It won't happen. Okay, he literally.
You'll even find one in his vicinity. Shoot.
No, none whatsoever. This man was built for one reason, and that was to destroy. But I like that what I liked about it is that what they realized was that character, if we amplify William Dafoe's Green Goblin, like there's another Green Goblin, so I'm just saying Green Goblin. If we amplify Green Goblin's everything about him, if we amplify it for this movie, that will validate Tom Holland's Spider-Man even more, because we got somebody for him to just grown man up on. And that's exactly what happened. It was a sense, as soon as it got to the point where it was like where they were about to have their final fight, I leaned over to my brother-in-law and I was like, he about to kill this motherfucker. He about to kill him. I don't see a situation and where he lives, and he better be glad that his Spider-Man stepped in, because I'm gonna tell you right now, he just shoved that. Okay, anyways, because I don't want to curse up here. What I'm trying to say is this. It speaks to the human side. We all have anger. We all have ruthlessness in us. If somebody hurt one of our loved ones, of course we would. It would get that ruthless. This can get real House of Horrors in a matter of seconds. Okay, but and I think this was the genius of adding these two in, is that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, that Peter Parker, he was like, yo. Believe me when I tell you, nobody has wanted to kill this mug more than me. Nobody. Okay? I have wanted to end this man's life on multiple occasions. But you can't.
In one.
but you can't. That's not what we do. That's not how we do things around here, my mans. That's not how we do.
Regret it for the rest of your life.
Because if you do, there's no going back. You kill one, there's no going back. Ain't that what Batman say all the time? If I kill one, I won't be able to stop. So I can't even think about that line. That's a line we just can't cross. This movie checked a lot of boxes for me. One, because it had everything you wanted. It had comedy. It had action on action on action. It had, the emotions. And it was just a good story. It was just a good story. And it really showed realistically what would happen. I feel what would happen if you were a superhero and you got outed. People gonna treat you differently. Think about how people treat celebrities. They love them and they hate them at the exact same time. It'd probably be even worse for superheroes, okay? Because every time something happened, everybody in the library gonna look at you like, you're just gonna be sitting there reading your book like, all right, I'm on my way. You either go put the book down and be like, look, okay, all right, okay, stop looking at me, I'm going, Jesus Christ. Or you're gonna be like, look, this is my free period hour, okay? All right, and I got lunch next hour, so miss me with that. Call Iron Man. Turn the page. You can't forget that these guys are human, right? So let's do this. And I'll pop it up on the screen. You'll see it You'll see it in this little space right here. So, Gaki, what's your rating for the movie?
Ooh, what scale? I feel like I need a scale here.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. I'm gonna give it a solid 9. Only reason it's not getting a 10 is because I feel like they had a great opportunity to add in Miles and they didn't. And social media had been popping off about, Lil Nas X potentially playing Miles, and I was so excited to see that, and it didn't happen. But I know that it's going to happen in the future because there's already talks about it everywhere. So 9 out of 10, only because you guys hyped up a character that didn't end up getting put in that I would have loved to have seen.
Honestly, I'm gonna speak on that because I think I can help you here. So in this universe of Spider-Man, we first get introduced to Miles Morales through his uncle, who's trying to buy a gun, who's trying to buy a weapon, a gun. He's trying to buy a regular gun. He's trying to buy a gun from one of the Falcon's, not Falcon, the Vulture, one of the Vulture's henchmen. Ironically, the Shocker, who's trying to buy a gun from Shocker, right? And then we move it to parking lot, interrogation scene, etc. But what we forget is that he says, yeah, I want you to stop these guys. I got a nephew that lives in this. Neighborhood. I wanted to be safe for him. Ironically, says the guy trying to buy a gun. Anyways, what I don't want you to forget is that by the time Miles comes around, in every single version of this, there is no version. And if I'm wrong, put it in the comments. But as far as I know, there's no version of this of Spider-Man where Miles is there and Spider-Man and Peter's not an adult.
But
yeah,
right,
he's not. He's an adult.
There was gonna be like a multiverse thing.
It can't happen. It can't happen because it can't happen. Not in this case because you would. It wouldn't. Well, first, I'm pretty sure. Miles is owned by Marvel, so I'm pretty sure Miles' Spider-Man is owned by Marvel. So not by Sony. So there's that. So that's why he doesn't appear in the.
Right.
He wouldn't come from.
Again, that's even though like I said, I just kind of feel like they hyped it up a little bit. They kind of alluded to it, and then they didn't. They didn't
hype it up, buddy. It was social media that hyped it up. They didn't hype it up though.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It was like going everywhere. Wherever you saw Marvel and Spider-Man, you were seeing Lil Nas X is to play.
And you believed it.
Regardless, I was hoping we would at least see like a child version of him. The little kid like aspiring and seeing Miles. Again, I just felt like it was a great point to set up.
Okay, before I get my rating, before I get my rating, go ahead.
But like I said, 9 out of 10, just because I feel like they had some great opportunities to introduce new characters that we know are going to be coming down in the future. But I mean, I guess I could be skewed to like a 9.5 because they showed Tom Hardy at the end, so I'm good.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway. Okay. I ain't gonna say anyways because I don't want to devalue your points. You make great points. Look. Okay. Look. All right. He's still a kid at this point. It doesn't work on any platform. You especially, I am surprised you let social media actually let you convince you that there was going to be a sighting of Desmond Miles in this movie. You know, if there was a side, if there was going to be I said Desmond Miles. I'm sorry, I'm getting my characters mixed up. You know, if Miles Morales was going to appear in this movie, there would have been a leak. You know, there would have been a leak because there was no
That's the
leak.
thing is that there was it was, and again, anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the servers to these movies are constantly under attack. So we never know, like, some of the stuff that we see is literally just like, hey, this person has been at this recording, like at this movie studio at the same time that Tom Holland and blah 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 has, and Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were there, and so like it's kind of not to think like, hey, we might be seeing Miles Mendoza here. So I feel like there's like
Morales.
all kinds of stuff. Sorry, Morales. I don't know why I keep
It's
saying
okay. I
Morales.
just called him Desmond Miles. That's an Assassin's Creed character. It's fine. We both messing up. It's fine. No, but
So
no, I agree.
regardless, I feel like there was an opportunity to at least present him, even if it was in his child version. I think that there was the opportunity, especially since it's kind of been hyped up, and it would have been a really great way for them to, help with, because we all know that the Marvel universe never ends. There's always just new heroes. So
I don't. I one. I think they need a fresh face. I don't think Lil Nas X is the right person for Miles Morales. But that's a whole
fun.
that's a whole nother thing. I just don't think he is, and I'm a Lil Nas X fan. So this is not saying anything's wrong with him because there's not. Not the right person for this character. I
He's
think that
definitely controversial, so I think in that sense he is kind of like out of the
he's
Spidey wheelhouse.
he's controversial. I don't think that should disqualify him from being considered from the part, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think that you need to. I think there are a lot of people. This is kind of the case that we. This is kind of the idea the idea that me and you talked about on the Black Panther episode that ironically is now getting traction in the media, social media, that they need to recast T'Challa because that's what Chadwick Boseman would have wanted, right? I think that with Miles Morales, I think you need a fresh face in there. Everybody's talking about the kid from Grownish. I don't remember his name. Not Grownish. Blackish. Everybody's talking about the younger
Blackish,
son.
yeah.
Yeah, from Blackish. Not mad at the pick. It's a solid backup pick. I just think somebody else could do it. I think somebody else could do it. So let me get into my rating, and then we'll go ahead and end this thing. I told you we was gonna do a half an hour. We're over it. I'm going to give this movie a solid 10. I'm going to give it a straight 10. 10 out of 10. Mainly because the only thing I didn't like about the movie, was two things. It was two things. Yeah, y'all gonna hate me for this, but fuck it. I didn't like that for some reason Jamie Foxx had a comb over in his Spider-Man movie and then came back with a crispy fade. Don't know where the hell that came from. And then also, I also didn't like that Andrew Garfield was just too emotional. He was just way too emotional.
But that's his Spider-Man.
I know that's his Spider-Man, and listen to me, I know that he is the only one out of those three whose girlfriend died. I get it. That's a whole other level of pain that we don't got time to go into, but I get it. Trust me. I understand. But here's why exactly, and that's why I'm gonna forgive it. That's why I give the movie a 10, because he did save MJ, and he cried some more, but I think what that put into perspective for him was that, if I could have saved her, I would have. It it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It's sad that it didn't happen. I cry myself to sleep at night. Not me, him. I sleep like a baby. Uh, but I think that it's one of those situations. Yeah, it's one of those situations where he's like, you know what, I can finally move on. So that saved that point for me. So I think that overall, the movie gets a 10. Spider-Man, No Way Home. Ain't that what it is? It's No Way Home, right? Spider-Man, No Way.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man, No Way Home. We definitely recommend that y'all go check it out. They not paying us to promote it. We're just fans. Okay. Definitely go check.
If y'all want to pay us to promote it, we definitely could.
Exactly. Definitely go. Y'all go check that out as soon as y'all can, man. And let us know in the comments what y'all thought about the movie. We're gonna post this on when we post this on YouTube. I want to hear about the comments, what y'all thought about the movie. I'm gonna post this in a couple nerd pop Facebook groups that I'm in, and I want to see what they think about the movie. And I want to, let's get a conversation going because I really feel like this movie is universally loved, which it is. But if anybody had any issues with it, I want to know about those issues, and let's talk. We want to know about those issues, and let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion because as informative as you think we are on this show, and we are, we're even more informative in the comments section. So trust me, talk to us, okay? Talk to us. But with that being said, sorry, dryness cough. Sip of water. And we're back. Anyways, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the bell so you will know when we drop a video. Go ahead and like it and subscribe and comment on our video. Operation Hero Talk podcast available on all platforms except Patreon. Still working on it. TikTok and Twitch page coming soon. We look forward to doing a lot more promotion, dropping a lot more on social media, and we look forward to interacting with you guys above all. We've been seeing our listen count go up. We're getting more listeners, and we just want you to know that we appreciate it, baby. A little pitchy, but you get my point. Okay, so go ahead. Like, subscribe, comment the hell out of it. 5-star, 4-star. Don't hit us with a 3-star. All right. And we will see you guys later. It's your boy Dimitri. It's the homie, Gaki Bunny. And there's apparently my wife, if you can hear her in the background, with the vacuum cleaner. So, with that being said, we love you.
Have a good night, y'all. Have a good day. Enjoy your week. And again, we love y'all all. Hit us up on our socials and get to know us a little bit more.